A week after the incident with Lisa, the Jeon family held a quiet evening dinner to celebrate a major new business partnership. In attendance were Kim Sok-jin Suga's mother and Kim Namjoon Suga's father, longtime family friends and senior advisors to the Jeon Corporation. Suga was also present, sitting quietly near the end of the table. The mood was light and chill. Hobie was telling jokes, Jin was making everyone laugh with his playful humor, and even Jungkook seemed slightly more relaxed than usual, sitting next to Taehyung at the long table. During a lull in the conversation, Jin cleared his throat, setting down his wine glass with a mysterious smile. Now that Jungkook is settled, Jin began, glancing warmly at RM beside him. Namjoon and I have been thinking about another matter concerning this family. Jimin looked up from his plate, curious. What matter? Well, Jin grinned, pointing a finger at Jimin and then across the table at Suga. We think it's time for Jimin and Yoongi to stop dancing around each other and settle down too. Suga nearly choked on his water, coughing into his napkin. Jimin's face flushed bright red instantly. Jimin squealed, hiding his burning face in his hands. What are you talking about? It's a wonderful idea, RM agreed with a calm nod. Our families have known each other for years. Yoongi is responsible, quiet, and deeply caring. Jimin is lively and bright. They balance each other perfectly. We completely agree. Suga wiped his mouth, looking over at Jimin. Despite his usual quiet, stoic demeanor, a soft, rare blush crept up Suga's neck. If Jimin is comfortable with it, I have no objections, Suga said quietly. Jimin slowly peeked through his fingers, looking at Suga with shy, sparkling eyes. I don't mind either. The table erupted into joyous laughter and applause. Hobie cheered loudly, slapping Suga on the back while Mrs. Jeon shed happy tears at the head of the table. Taehyung smiled warmly, clapping along with the rest of the family. He felt truly happy for Jimin. Beside him, Jungkook reached out to grab his water glass. As he did, his warm knuckles accidentally brushed against Taehyung's hand resting on the tablecloth. A sharp spark of electricity shot through Taehyung's arm. He froze, looking sideways at Jungkook. Jungkook didn't pull his hand away immediately. He glanced at Taehyung, his eyes deep and intense under the warm dining room lights. In that split second, Taehyung saw something changing in Jungkook's eyes, a flicker of warmth, of deep care, of something ancient and beautiful, trying to break through the icy wall around his heart. The night of Jimin and Yoongi's formal engagement announcement party was cool and clear. Soft yellow string lights illuminated the garden of the Jeon mansion, where dozens of close family friends laughed and clinked champagne glasses. Taehyung stood near the edge of the stone balcony, holding a small glass of sparkling apple juice. He was dressed in a soft cream silk shirt that draped over his frame, making his pale skin look almost ethereal under the moonlight. Taekook was sleeping peacefully inside under the care of Mrs. Jeon. Footsteps sounded behind him on the stone floor, heavy, deliberate, and familiar. Taehyung turned his head to see Jungkook walking toward him, holding two glasses. "You're hiding out here," Jungkook said softly, stopping beside Taehyung and resting his forearms on the balcony railing. "Just enjoying the cool air," Taehyung replied with a gentle smile. "Jimin and Yoongi-hyung, they look so happy together tonight." "They do," Jungkook murmured, his voice low and raspy. He turned his head to look directly at Taehyung's side profile, the soft slope of his nose, the long eyelashes casting shadows on his cheeks, and the gentle curve of his lips. For weeks, Jungkook had tried to maintain his emotional distance, but living under the same roof as Taehyung was breaking down those walls piece by piece. Taehyung was patient, kind, and quiet. He spent his days taking care of Taekook, helping around the house, and greeting Jungkook with a soft, warm smile every night when he returned home late from the office. "Taehyung," Jungkook called out softly. Taehyung turned his head to meet his eyes. "Yes, Jungkook?" Jungkook set his glass down on the stone ledge. He reached out slowly, his warm fingers hesitating for a second before gently brushing a stray lock of dark hair away from Taehyung's forehead.
His touch was so light, so painfully careful, that Taehyung felt a shiver run down his spine. "I need to tell you something," Jungkook whispered, his dark eyes burning with an intensity that made Taehyung's heart leap into his throat. "And I need you to listen to me without turning away." "Jungkook, what is it?" "Taehyung," Jungkook began softly, his dark eyes fixed entirely on Taehyung's face. "I can't keep pretending anymore." Taehyung blinked, his heart instantly leaping into his throat. "What do you mean, Jungkook-si?" "I recognized you the moment I saw you at the restaurant," Jungkook said, stepping closer. "Back in college, you used to sit near the back of the library with your sketchbook. I wanted so badly to walk up to you, to talk to you, but I was too foolish to make a move before you suddenly disappeared. I loved you back then, Taehyung, and watching you these past few weeks. Caring for Sunu, being so gentle despite everything you've suffered. Those feelings never truly went away." Taehyung's eyes widened, tears instantly brimming at the lashes. "Jungkook, you remembered me." "I never forgot you," Jungkook murmured, reaching out to gently wipe a single stray tear from Taehyung's cheek. "I don't care about contracts or arranged marriages. I want to build a real family with you. I want to love you, and I want to raise Taekook as my own son." Hearing those words, the very declaration he had dreamed of years ago sent a sharp, agonizing ache through Taehyung's chest. The guilt he had carried for months surged to the surface, breaking his composure entirely. Sobbing softly, he pulled back slightly. "No, Jungkook, you don't understand." Taehyung wept, his shoulders trembling. "I lied to your family. My aunt lied to everyone. I was never married." Jungkook froze, his hand pausing in midair. "What?" The la. It was the end of semester celebration at a local club near the campus edge. Taehyung had only gone because his dorm roommate had dragged him along. The music had been deafening, the lights disorienting. Someone had handed him a plastic cup filled with a dark, sweet liquid. He remembered drinking it, feeling an uncanny, burning heat spread through his veins within minutes, his balance vanishing entirely. He had stumbled down a dark hallway, searching for fresh air or a restroom, only to be pulled into a pitch-black storage room. He remembered hands, warm and heavy, the scent of rain, cedar, and expensive cologne, and a desperate, confused intimacy in the dark that had left him trembling and terrified. When he woke up on the dusty floor, hours later, the room was empty, the door was unlocked, the world outside was quiet and cold. 2 weeks after that night, before he could even process what had happened, the police called. His parents' car had skidded on an icy bridge during a sudden blizzard on their way to visit him. Both had died instantly. In the span of 14 days, Taehyung had lost his family, his education, his home, and his innocence. He dropped out of university, packed his few belongings, and moved into his aunt's cramped apartment. 2 months later, the morning sickness began. When the doctor confirmed the pregnancy, Taehyung hadn't felt anger, only a profound, terrifying surge of protective instinct. Taekook became his entire world, the precious flower blooming out of the ashes of his destroyed life. And now, fate was dragging him back into the orbit of the one man he had admired from afar. "I never had a husband who passed away," Taehyung sobbed. 3 years ago, I was invited to a college party. A guy dragged me into a pitch-black storeroom while he was heavily intoxicated. I never even saw his face. 9 months later, Taekook was born. I'm just an unwed single father who brought a child into the world without even knowing who his father was." Taehyung looked up at Jungkook with desperate, broken eyes. "My aunt found out and was ashamed of me. When your family looked for a partner, she made up the story about a deceased husband so your parents wouldn't look down on me. I'm so sorry, Jungkook. I'm so sorry for deceiving you." Jungkook stared at him, stunned, his mind racing as he processed the trembling confession before him. Jungkook felt as if the ground beneath his feet had suddenly dissolved into nothingness. His face went entirely pale, his breath catching painfully in his throat as the timeline snapped together in his mind with terrifying, absolute clarity. At that exact moment, the smartphone in Jungkook's pocket began to chime loudly. The screen lit up with Min Suga's caller ID. Automatically, his hand acting on pure, numb reflex, Jungkook pulled out the phone and tapped the speaker button. Jungkook Suga's clear, urgent voice filled the quiet nursery over the speaker. You told me to find out about that night in the office earlier, about that end of semester party 3 years ago, the night your drink was spiked in that dark hallway near the storerooms. Jungkook, I found CCTV footage of hallway. Jungkook dropped the phone. It crashed onto the soft rug, Suga's voice fading into static. Taehyung froze instantly. The room fell into a terrifying, suffocating silence. Taehyung stared at Jungkook, his eyes wide with a sudden, horrifying realization. The scent of dark cedar and rain, the timeline, the party, the storeroom. It was you, Taehyung whispered, his voice trembling violently, filled with a sudden burning rage and profound shock. It was you. It was you, Taehyung screamed, his voice breaking into a painful, anguished cry that echoed across the empty balcony. All the pain, the fear, the months of hiding his growing belly in a cold room, the endless nights of crying alone while holding a feverish baby, and the deep, dark shame he had carried for 2 years came rushing back to the surface in a single violent second. You were the one in that dark room. Taehyung sobbed hysterically, taking step after step backward, pushing Jungkook away with trembling hands whenever he tried to step closer. Taehyung, please. Jungkook choked out, his voice cracking as he took a tentative step forward, his hands raised in desperate supplication. Don't come near me! Taehyung gasped, pulling Sunu tighter against his chest as tears spilled freely down his cheeks. For 3 years, I thought I was insane. I hated myself. I dropped out of school. I endured my aunt's disgust. I sat in clinic waiting rooms alone while everyone stared at me, and all this time, it was you. Taehyung, please listen to me. Jungkook begged, his own eyes filling with rapid tears as he saw the pure agony in Taehyung's face. I swear on my life, I didn't know. My drink was drugged by someone at the bar. I lost my mind. I couldn't see. I didn't even know anyone else was in that room. I didn't know. Get away from me. Taehyung sobbed, shielding his chest with his arms. Don't touch me. Don't come near me. Without waiting another second, Taehyung turned around and ran off the balcony, his frantic footsteps echoing down the grand hallway toward his bedroom. Jungkook stood frozen on the balcony, staring at his own trembling hands. The image of little Taekook's face flashed in his mind, the identical eyes, the bow-shaped mouth, the way his mother had frozen when looking at the baby's resemblance to Jungkook's childhood photos. Taekook wasn't another man's child. Taekook was his son. And the innocent boy he had loved from afar in university, the boy whose sudden disappearance had broken his heart years ago, was the very person he had unknowingly hurt on that terrible night. Jungkook fell to his knees on the cold stone floor, burying his face in his hands as harsh, silent sobs racked his broad frame. Taehyung locked himself inside his room with Taekook refusing to eat or come out. Jungkook did not go to work. He didn't sleep. He spent 2 straight days sitting on the cold floor outside Taehyung's bedroom door, resting his back against the wood, waiting quietly. On the morning of the third day, the bedroom door clicked open softly. Jungkook stood up instantly, his body stiff and exhausted. His eyes were bloodshot, dark circles heavy beneath them, his hair messy and his shirt wrinkled. Taehyung stepped out into the hallway, holding sleeping Taekook tightly in his arms. His face was pale and thin, his eyes swollen from hours of crying, but his expression was calm, a quiet, tired calm. Taehyung, Jungkook whispered, his voice completely raw. Taehyung didn't yell, he didn't run. He just looked at Jungkook with deep, sorrowful eyes. I'm leaving, Jungkook. I've packed our bags. I can't stay in this house anymore. Jungkook dropped to his knees right there on the carpeted floor in front of Taehyung, bowing his head until his forehead almost touched the ground. Please, Jungkook wept, his broad shoulders shaking violently as he begged from the floor. Please don't leave, Taehyung. If you want to hate me, hate me. If you want to beat me until your hands hurt. But please, don't take yourself and our son away from me. Taehyung looked down at the powerful, proud man kneeling at his feet, weeping like a helpless child. I didn't know, Taehyung. I swear to God I didn't know. Jungkook sobbed, raising his head, his eyes pleading desperately. If I had known it was you that night, I would have searched the entire world for you. I would have taken care of you, protected you, and loved you and Taekook from the very first second. My drink was spiked by someone at that party. I lost my senses, and I spent the last 2 years regretting that night without even knowing why. Jungkook whispered, his voice full of pure, naked devotion. Give me a chance to fix it, Tae. Give me a chance to spend the rest of my life making up for every tear you shed, every cold night you spent alone, and every bit of pain you suffered. I love you. I love you so much, Taehyung. Taehyung looked at Jungkook's tear-stained face. He saw no lies, no pride, and no bitterness, only pure, genuine love, deep regret, and an overwhelming. Slowly, the anger that had burned inside Taehyung's chest began to melt away, leaving behind a soft, aching understanding. They were both victims of a terrible night, brought back together by a twist of fate. Taehyung let out a long, shuddering breath. He reached down with his free hand, his soft fingers gently touching Jungkook's hair. Get up, Jungkook, Taehyung whispered softly, a fresh tear trailing down his cheek. Get up and hold your son. Jungkook looked up in disbelief. Slowly, he stood up on unsteady legs. Taehyung stepped forward and gently transferred the sleeping baby into Jungkook's broad, strong arms. As Jungkook cradled tiny Taekook against his chest for the very first time as his father, the baby let out a tiny sweet sigh, turning his soft face into Jungkook's warm shirt. Jungkook buried his face against the baby's soft hair, holding both Taehyung and Taekook close to his heart as he wept tears of absolute relief and gratitude. Taehyung pulled back slightly, looking up into Jungkook's tear-stained face. A soft, tiny smile, the first genuine smile Jungkook had seen on his face in 3 years, touched the corners of Taehyung's lips. He has your nose, you know, Taehyung whispered softly, wiping a tear from Jungkook's cheek. Taekook, he has your exact nose and eyes. Jungkook let out a choked laugh, fresh tears running down his face as he cupped Taehyung's cheek with his warm palm. He has your soft heart, Tae. That's what matters most. Outside, the heavy storm finally began to quiet down, giving way to the soft, peaceful light of a brand new dawn. 6 months later, in the Jeon estate, the grand corridors were now filled with the cheerful sound of small pitter-patter steps, bright laughter, and the soft scent of freshly bloomed lilies from the courtyard garden. The morning sun spilled warmly through the tall glass windows of the primary bedroom. Taehyung lay softly tangled in the plush white sheets, a peaceful smile resting on his face. Beside him, little Taekook, now over a year old and walking on sturdy, chubby legs, was sitting upright, babbling happily as he gently patted Taehyung's cheek with his tiny hands. Pa, Pa, Taekook cooed, giggling as Taehyung opened his eyes with a soft yawn. Good morning, my sweet boy, Taehyung whispered, pulling the toddler into a warm embrace and showering his soft cheeks with tiny kisses, making the baby squeal in delight. The bedroom door opened quietly and Jungkook stepped in, carrying a tray with warm breakfast tea, fresh fruit, and a small bottle of milk. He wore a soft beige knit sweater and dark trousers, looking relaxed, happy, and entirely at peace. The moment his eyes landed on Taehyung and their son, a radiant, warm smile broke across his face. Look who's awake, Jungkook said softly, setting the tray down on the bedside table. He leaned down, placing a tender kiss on Taekook's forehead before shifting over to press a deep, loving kiss against Taehyung's lips. Good morning, my beautiful husband. Taehyung's cheeks flushed a delicate pink, a lovely blush that never failed to make Jungkook's heart skip a beat. Good morning, Jungkook. Did you sleep well? Jungkook asked, sitting on the edge of the mattress and pulling both Taehyung and Taekook into his broad protective arms.